My God. Well, there's no good way to get into this. We're just gonna go for it. We're just gonna hop over into incel land. So we're gonna check out this dude. I found him on Twitter, like a clip from one of his videos, and then I ended up stumbling upon his actual YouTube channel. So we're gonna check out the clip that's on Twitter because it's from like an hour-long video, and I think it kind of just gets to the point. And then we'll see what else he has on his channel because I don't really know what he's gonna say here, other than the comment that was left that says most involuntary celibates are actually voluntary celibates who want porn star model level women, which is something that's, is not something we, it's a pretty frequent thing when they talk about the quality of women available to them. Trellick says he mournfully sighs when she makes him watch her new videos. Oh, or that dude, but that dude that was with her, he seemed like he was kind of equally insufferable. Like they were kind of made for each other in a weird way. Brissinger says, "My pillow, anyone?" There he is. He's right there. Use promo code Zubox for nothing off. All right, let's see what he has to say. Let's see what this guy is all about.
Just wanted to take the time to talk about all the many reasons why women were or are the ones who caused me to become an incel. What women want is just pure fantasy. They want something that's literally out of like a fucking fairy tale. Like what they want, what they expect, what they desire, what they crave, what they wish to have when it comes to their ideal like man. And
I have to imagine like a lot of this information that this person is getting about like the desires of women probably come from like TikTok videos and stuff that they would see online, like all of those awful, those man on the street interviews, and they go and talk to girls. They're like, how much do you think a guy should make a year to bag you? Like, how much does he got to make? I don't know, $1 million. Yeah, he's got to make $1 million a year. Is that where he's getting his intel from? I mean, if he's an incel and he doesn't have a lot of experience with women, then where else would he be getting it from? Other than this very, very narrow view of relationships and human beings that we get here on the grand old internet. It's totally wide open. We could be looking at anything. But no, we only look at like 3 different subjects.
honestly, like, I fucking hate the standards and expectations that most modern women have when it comes to the kind of guys that they would want to date or especially marry long term. And the funny thing about me though is when it came to talking to like ugly girls, I could do that. Piece of cake.
I just didn't want to get to know them. Yeah, ugly girls. Yeah, I could talk to them all day. Of course, who cares? They're ugly girls. They might as well be dudes.
Like, it was never hard or difficult for me to talk to ugly girls. I never had a problem or issue talking to girls that are unattractive. Or even like average looking girls. Like, whether it's average looking girls or especially, and I would even say more so, ugly looking girls that I was not attracted to sexually and never had a crush on and never wanted to get with. I mean, not that I wouldn't mind being friends with them. Like, I'm not a guy who like hates ugly girls. Like,
I mean, there is a saying, and it holds true. It's beggars can't be choosers. You may have to get to know some of these people and learn their personalities and stuff. They might become attractive to you if you were willing to invest some time into it instead of no, that doesn't look like those girls from those videos I watch. So I'm sorry. I can't be bothered. Trellick says you don't deserve a 10 like most of us don't. What are you talking about?
I wouldn't mind being friends with girls like that. I would have no problem or issue just simply being friends with girls like that.
Hagbard says this guy loves trains, guaranteed.
Or whatever. But when it would come to like dating girls like that or marrying them, hell no. Fuck no, fuck that. At least not me. I mean, even as desperate as I am,
He's like, I would do all of these things. I would be friends with them. I would do all this stuff, but he's not, and he has no intention of, and he wouldn't. He's just kind of just throwing that out there because I'm a good guy. Like I'm a person. I have empathy. But marry one of them? Oh, fuck no. Fuck no, motherfucker. I may be a Shrek, but shit, man, I want human Fiona. I don't want no swamp Fiona. When's that Yeezy porn coming out?
like I've only ever been desperate for women that are hot, women that are beautiful, women that are attractive and good looking and insanely sexy and just mind-blowingly gorgeous. Those are the only women in my entire life, even ever since I was a little kid, that I wanted to date, I wanted to marry, I wanted to have as many kids as I possibly could with, have a family with. Those were the kind of women I wanted. Those are the kind of women that I daydreamed about and dreamed about. And
yes, but now you're here in the real world, in your life, not your fantasies. You may have to come down from the mountain a little bit there, pal. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Maybe you're just arrogant. Trumping says women want Fantasyland stuff like their date to not give them Sonic the Hedgehog deep lore. He's got it. He's got it in his back pocket, just for the right occasion, like dates, dinner parties. Trilling also says, who's in the fantasy again?
Fantasized about being with, and it only tortured and tormented me.
All right, so that's the end of that clip. But like I said, I did find this guy's whole YouTube channel, and that definitely seems like some interesting stuff. I mean, not things we haven't really heard before, but we're always on the lookout for a kook. We're always looking out for these guys. Darth Nihilus. Of course. I hate simp men. Eminem should have released his curtain call greatest hits album on December 6, 2004 at the age of 32. Video response message to Mortal Kombat. Women live life on easy mode. You may have heard some of these hits before. Where's that one we were just watching? It's like right around here somewhere. I think it's women are the reason I became an incel. Yeah. My life has been nothing but a living hell. Introduction to my new YouTube channel. This guy started 3 months ago, and he's already doing solid numbers. Solid numbers, this guy. He's got more. He's already has more subs than Zubox, and his videos do a lot better. I should just start pumping out incel content. That's what the people want. That's what the people want to see. Incel content. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess let's listen to a little bit more of the video we were just watching.
Back to you today with another video, and today I just wanted to take the time to talk about all the many reasons why women were or are the ones who caused me to become an incel. And I wanted to start off this video by saying that, when it comes to women in terms of their dating or especially marriage standards or expectations, they're just insane. Their dating or marriage standards or expectations, in other words, are just unrealistic.
Now, this is fucking hilarious considering what we know that he says later when he talks about the quality of women that he's attracted to and how this is like this is a hard line. That's a hard line for him. No ugly chicks. None allowed. Troubling says, he talks about how the Sith were right all along to girls. Oh, of course he does. He's like, well, it's really fascinating if you kind of think about it from a philosophical perspective.
Unreasonable. And most men just realistically cannot ever, meet most modern day women's standards and expectations, whether it comes to just simply dating them, if that's all you want to do, or
Yeah, probably not e-thoughts and club girls and hood rats, which is kind of what takes up, seems like, the lion's share of content out there about women these days. Yeah, if those are the women you're looking at, then yeah, probably not them. Probably not them. You may have to hustle a little bit. You may have to get involved in some other communities. You may have to find a hobby group, start going to church. I don't know. Something. They're out there. They're out there, buddy.
especially marrying them and, living with that woman for the rest of your life. Like, what women want is just pure fantasy. They want something that's literally out of like a fucking fairy tale. Like, what they want, what they expect, what they desire, what they crave, what they wish to have when it comes to their ideal, like, man, or this kind of fake, fictional, pure fantasy sort of man that they themselves have created in their minds for a very long time now. I mean, it's just
Like, dude, seriously, this is really funny considering what he's going to say later. This is quite the he takes quite the pivot because he's basically describing himself and just saying women.
unrealistic. It's insane. It's unreasonable. It's unbelievable. It's unachievable because most men are not tall. Most men are not muscular. Most men are not super insanely rich.
And you know what we do? You know what men like us do? We develop personalities. We learn how to be funny, quick-witted, learned, something that's interesting about us on a deeper level. Just saying, it's a survival mechanism.
Just to name a few of the unrealistic, unreasonable, just pure fantasy, fictional, non-realistic expectations and standards that most modern day women have when it comes to dating or marrying a man. And at least when it comes
And he's like, I'm into girls that look like kind of like Lana Rhodes, girls like that. That's kind of my bottom, That's my foundation. That's where I start from is Lana Rhodes. I'm like a Shane Diesel type myself, so I gotta have what I gotta have. Gotta have somebody that can handle that.
to most modern Western women, at least, I don't know, how women are in like Eastern European countries or countries that are not considered Western countries or countries where the women are not so crazily obsessed with and into and kind of brainwashed and manipulated by Western culture and society or Western
What do you mean, like in sub-Saharan Africa? You go pick up a village girl.
media or whatever, because that has done a massive number on modern day women. It has damaged them. It has ruined them. It has corrupted them. And I mean, it's tragic, to say the least. It's heartbreaking. The fact that so many modern women, I mean, I would say even most, if anything, have been just.
Hagbard says we should send this guy to Darfur. Trami says we're watching Winners tonight. Oh, you know it, brother.
Just led down a deep, dark path of destruction. And they have been lied to, they have been led astray, they have been brainwashed to the core, they have been manipulated. I mean, they have been fooled. And
Like they set this crazy, insane standard so that they can never actually achieve anything, so that they can maintain their identity as whining incels. Like I really don't think that they would know what to do if the opportunity presented itself. I don't even think they would want it, because this is like they become addicted to this kind of like negative attention loop. It's kind of like, this is very similar to DBDR. This guy's a DBDR in the making. Give him a year, he'll be like DBDR. But apparently this stuff is very hot content out there. Okay. Trembling says this dude has every signature brand fleshlight. Oh, you know he does. He's got that Sith pussy. Hagbard says tonight's video: hunting for pussy with a loaf of bread and a roll of nickels.
you know, what's sad is that women are, compared to men at least, so much more easier to brainwash and manipulate and lie to, trick, fool, deceive than compared to men. I mean, what's interesting too is the fact—
Stop talking about your mother.
that, like, when women will go to school, for example, they'll almost always end up becoming a Democrat. Almost always. They'll almost always end up becoming a liberal and become very hardcore leftists. Whereas guys, when they go to school, of course, some of them probably end up becoming liberals or Democrats or whatever, and like very hardcore leftists, but most men don't. I mean, I would even say like most even inner city men are more likely to become Republicans or conservatives or whatever, but women not so much. And
they're too susceptible to the lies. You know, it's that empathy. It's that natural empathy. Travis says, I love that he's backing up all of his claims. All that trust me, bro data. Yeah, of course. I mean, look at his eyes. He's very trustworthy. A beautiful steel blue.
Also sad and interesting is the fact that, I mean, even women who are raised in the rural areas, who grow up in the country, you know, they even end up becoming very liberal and democratic. And
so basically what he's saying is like, there is nowhere to go to find any good women. That's why he doesn't even try anymore. He doesn't even bother.
They become so obsessed with inner city culture and obsessed with liberalism and the Democrats and the leftists' ideologies or beliefs or philosophies or whatever. Even if they were raised in the rural area growing up, and even if they had very like hardcore Republican conservative parents who probably tried their best to—
He's just like constructing this fantasy in his own mind. And now he's thinking of the variables of this fantasy. Trami says, just this alone tells me he hasn't talked to many women. Yeah, you got to wonder, you know, if he's an incel, self-proclaimed incel, where is he getting all of this information? Where is he getting it? Trelmick says he's going to find out about margasms and the right height, no bucket. Give him time, enough time. Yeah, he'll find his way down there. Hagbert says to Tarami, Mima doesn't count.
Make their daughters see the light and become Republicans or become conservative or whatever, or also most likely like Christian and religious and have morals and be modest and humble and traditional and dignified.
Yeah.
And
hoe's gonna hoe. It's just part of who they are. It's part of their nature.
Have self-respect and whatnot. But then instead, what ends up happening is they just unfortunately always want to end up becoming liberals, Democrats. And, you know, it's sad, but like women are the reasons why, or not reasons, they're the reason I ended up becoming an incel, because also,
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that stands to reason. Trami says, quote unquote, and basically just be completely subservient to my every childish whim. Kind of. A little bit. A little bit of that flavor there.
when it comes to the kind of characteristics that women like, and unfortunately have liked for a very, very long time now, like many decades now, if anything. Like, for example, women like men who are confident, who are extroverted, who can make the first move, who are charming, who are funny, who have a good personality,
Yeah.
um, who have lots of friends, who are, you know, successful. And when it comes to someone like me, who is
So if you know what the benchmarks are, then you can go about your life and try to achieve those things to make yourself more attractive to women. You don't have to be a loner. You don't have to be. You're not doomed to this life. You seem pretty young, you know? You don't got to be like this person.
I don't need friends. They disappoint me.
Trami says, oh God, is he going to cry? He might. He might burst out a little bit. It's going to make it real authentic. He's got to get those sub numbers up, you know? Prophet says, laugh out loud. Imagine being subservient to your every childish whim. Ha 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 ha. Poses turtle figures with expensive cannabis pre-rolls. Hagbard says, this plays out like a Chris Farley bit. Trami says, me personally, I just go for the loser women who have 3 or more cats and read shitty fanfic all day. Hey, exactly. Listen, there's plenty of ways to crack this nut. Plenty of different ways. Unfortunately, Trami, I think you might have missed it. We watched the clip from this video, a shorter clip, where he reveals that his standards for the kind of woman that he wants to be with are kind of impossibly high.
so very stunted. I've never been confident. I was never extroverted growing up. I didn't really talk to the opposite sex that much. I mean, it was always easy for me and a piece of cake to talk to guys. I never had a problem or issue talking to guys growing up.
Maybe you gay. Maybe you gay.
And since I was a little kid, I wasn't shy or introverted around guys because, they're of the same gender. And obviously, me being a guy, I'm going to have the most in common with and most likely get along the most with, and, just understand guys much more than I ever will women. Women will always be a mystery to me.
Yeah, dude, they're a mystery to everybody. Like, you're just describing being a person. You're just describing being a man. Like, oh, I just kind of understand guys better. Yeah, no shit. No way. Trembling says, it takes longer and longer in life for each generation of dudes to realize women aren't supposed to just do what you tell them to do. I guess so. It's kind of a sad state of affairs. Prophet says, mid-cat girls were my bread and butter back in the day. Or bread and butter face, if you know what I mean. Oh, shit.
There'll always be a gender that I will never fully understand or comprehend or get in a deep point of view. But like,
dude, I've been with somebody for 12 years. 12 years this year. I've been with my wife. I still have no idea what the fuck is going on in her head. It's okay.
Growing up when I was a little kid, like, there were no girls who wanted to be my friends. None at all. There were no girls who asked me if I wanted to be friends with them. And I mean, this happened to me like all throughout elementary school, all throughout middle school, and the short period of time that I was in high school in the 9th grade before I dropped out in the 9th grade. Like, even up until the age of 15, 16 years old, you know, no girls talked to me, or hardly ever talked to me, at least. If they did, they kept it very
It's probably because you stare. Don't stare so much. You know what I mean? Travis says, I think his point is that he shouldn't have to wonder. Yeah. He's got a lot of, he's very demanding. He also says, whatever goes on up there is of no consequence, kind of deal. Proust says, Jesus fucking Christ, when are young men going to learn you aren't supposed to understand women? You're supposed to impregnate them and keep them guessing if you will leave. Grow up already. Tremling says, you're supposed to know that by high school, but they don't get the high school mentality until they're in their 30s. This is true. It's kind of the new age.
very brief, very subtle. Like if they interacted with me again in any way, it was very brief. It was very subtle. It almost like never happened. It was very rare for me to have any.
Hey, I will say this though. Out of all of like the incel videos we've watched in the past and people talking about this kind of stuff, this guy is in some ways is being generous, where you really are getting kind of a naked view of how he feels about things. And he's speaking at the very least, he's coherent. Like he's telling a little bit of a story here. So we can kind of get into his mindset to one degree or another, or at least understand why how he rationalizes how he feels about women.
Any sort of contact or interaction or any kind of socializing with girls, either my age or who were around my age growing up. And, when it came to girls that I was sexually attracted to and really wanted to get with more than anything, and more than any of them ever understood, I was very extremely shy and introverted
So I used to just walk up to them and come immediately. Trump says, yeah, fair enough. I can sympathize with him. I just think he's wrong. No, of course. I was just saying it's not always that you get like a broad picture of a person, especially when you watch these kinds of videos. They don't always just kind of lay it out for you. Most of the time, we have to go work off of like inference and kind of fill in the blanks ourselves. Trelmick says, I think millennials like us are stuck being in high school shit posters forever, but everyone after us stays in middle school at most mentally. Kind of, yeah, we are definitely an immature generation for sure.
girls that I liked because they were so damn attractive. They were so damn hot and pretty, good looking, sexy, and all that. And it was very uncomfortable for me.
I get you, Trami.
It was very intimidating for someone like me who grew up, at least compared to most other guys that I personally knew and was able to like talk to and spend time with and like get along with, at least for the most part anyways. I was way more shy and introverted compared to any of the other guys at my schools growing up. Of all the schools that I went to growing up when I was a lot younger, those guys never had any problem or issue talking to.
It makes you wonder. The one thing I do wonder about a person like this is like, he's talking about his childhood and about being the insecurity and shyness that he has. Like, where were his parents? Like, how do his parents factor into any of this? I mean, I suppose he's probably close to my age. I'm trying to think like, yeah, parents were a little bit more hands off, I suppose, with a lot of like school experiences, things that you'd go through in school. Like, I don't remember ever like coming home and like talking to my parents about my day. I didn't really have that experience, which is so weird. Cause like now that I have my own kids, I'm very different about that stuff. I'm like very proactive about kind of being involved in all of those aspects. Maybe sometimes too much too, honestly. You got to find the right balance there. Trami says, look, my dude, just getting laid isn't that complicated. Problem is that you shouldn't see that as the single goal with women. Hagbert says, on the bright side, he hasn't said Chad or Stacy yet. This is true. They're becoming more mature. They're growing,
to girls, making friends with them, interacting with them in any way, being around them, being in the physical presence of them, asking them out on a date, making the first move. Like, most of the guys I knew in elementary school, middle school, high school, again, they never had a problem or issue talking to girls. Even if it were like the super hot, attractive girls that I went to school with. You know, they were not intimidated by those girls. They weren't uncomfortable or nervous or stressed out around them.
Yeah, because they didn't, like, in their minds, put them on a pedestal, and they didn't, you know, not to be this guy, but they weren't objectifying them in that way. At least not in those moments, maybe. You know, they can compartmentalize maybe better than you can there, buddy bear.
Those guys can feel out of place. They weren't like shy or introverted around them.
Trembling says, this dude is supposed to be hoeing a field and married to a woman that his parents arranged for him. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. Trami says, or they were completely fucking terrified, rightfully, and had balls.
Or antisocial, if anything. But I was. You know, when it came to girls that I had a crush on, I could never bring myself to talk to them. Whether it was in the terms of trying to ask them out or flirt with them or just simply talk to them as if I only wanted to be friends with them. I mean, I couldn't even do something like that.
Well, you couldn't do something like that because that's not what your actual intentions were. Like, you were really hyper fixated on this kind of coomerism approach.
Like, it's always been impossible for me to talk to girls or women who are really pretty, who are hot, sexy, and beautiful, attractive, whatever. Like, I just can't. I can't do it. It's impossible. There's no way in hell that I have ever been able to achieve something like that myself, personally. And
look out, ladies. That's his tell. You know, if he meets you and then he immediately begins to vomit, it's because he wants to bang you.
And honestly, like, I fucking hate the standards and expectations that most modern women have when it comes to the kind of guys that they would want to date or especially marry long term. And about when it came to talking to like ugly girls, I could do that. Piece of cake.
He's so pleased with himself. He's like, yeah, like just like they were nothing. Like it didn't even matter. He's kind of impressed with himself. He's emboldened a little bit.
Like, it was never hard or difficult for me to talk to ugly girls. I never had a problem or issue talking to girls that are unattractive. Or even like average looking girls. Like, whether it's average looking girls or especially
Trembling says, I really think dudes like this don't know what actual love or even simple affection feels like. No, I mean, I think a lot of them, it is kind of tragic in a certain respect. They go along their entire lives without ever feeling any of that or having any of that reciprocated to them. And I mean, obviously I think this dude's wrong. And I think he just doesn't have any guidance in his life and he doesn't have anybody to talk to maybe about his problems in this respect. Or if he does, maybe he does it like a weirdo and he turns people off. I don't know. But that's kind of more of the issue. Just like lost people, kind of. Just faded into the background their whole lives. Tarami says, but since they were ugly, they were nothing to even consider. Yeah, that's exactly how he feels.
And I would even say more so ugly looking girls that I was not attracted to sexually and never had a crush on and never wanted to get with. I mean, not that I wouldn't mind being friends with them. Like, I'm not a guy who like hates ugly girls. Like, I wouldn't mind being friends with girls like that. I would have no problem or issue.
Well, you know, this would be another thing. If you were friends with the ugly girls, it might make you more attractive to other girls because they'll see you as kind of safe because you have some friends that are girls. Just, you know, just a suggestion. I mean, he's saying this like, oh, I would be friends with them. Like, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to maintain a relationship with one of them as even as a friend. Like, this is a little bit, you know, what they would call delusional. Like, he's saying all of this stuff, but I almost don't believe him. I almost don't believe him. I think he's talking himself up a little bit. I think he's letting his ego interfere with the truth.
Just simply being friends with girls like that or whatever, but when it would come to like dating girls like that or marrying them, hell no.
Fuck no.
Fuck no, fuck that. At least not me. I mean, even as
Trauma says, is he a virgin? I believe so. I believe that is the implication.
desperate as I am, like, I've only ever been desperate for women that are hot, women that are beautiful, women that are attractive and good looking and insanely sexy and just mind-blowingly gorgeous. Those are the only...
Don't we fucking all, pal? I mean, like, seriously, like, has he ever said this out loud? Maybe he never had before. Maybe it's just been this voice echoing inside of his head. Like, come on, guy. like how you never express this to anyone and then just like look at you like you're crazy? Be like, dude, what are you talking about? Yeah, everybody feels that way about insanely hot women. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's not just you. Your standards are just too high, pal. Trami says, oh God, he's coming on camera. He's going to cry right after, too.
Women in my entire life, even ever since I was a little kid, that I wanted to date, I wanted to marry, I wanted to have as many kids as I possibly could with, have a family with. Those were the kind of women I wanted. Those are the kind of women that I daydreamed about and dreamed about and fantasized about being with, and it only tortured and tormented me in the long run emotionally, and it just made my fucking heart cave in and just broke me. It tore me apart. Like, it caused
crawling in my skin
me so much pain for many years of my life, knowing that I was never successful and never had the ability to talk to girls that I liked, to talk to girls that I wanted to date and marry and want to be with long term and best friends with too.
You mean just from seeing them from a distance? Like, you don't need any other information about these people? You know, very attractive people tend to be vapid and vain, sometimes kind of stupid, you know, because they're beauty privilege. You know, do you need any other information, or is it just about cooming? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure some of these ugly girls that you can totally talk to at any time, worry-free, you know, some of them might be nice. They might have some personalities. You may grow to like them. Trami says, fantasy, operative word. He also says, I wonder what his reaction would be when he finally does talk to them and realize they're fucking insane. I don't know. We got to get him on like the whatever podcast. I hope he blows up and he goes on one of those podcasts. Or maybe Fresh and Fit. Let's get real crazy with him.
Too, if anything. And, you know, and obviously, like, ever since I was even a teenager and even like, well, yeah, I would definitely say, at least since I was a teenager, I longed and yearned for a very deep and personal relationship with any girl that I would have gotten with.
Well, any girl that's super hot. That's kind of, that's a deal breaker. Prophet says, I want to appear in the subway in front of this dude with the whole Zoobox crew behind me in ninja uniforms, and I'd slap his bitch face with a Sean Connery open palm and say, shut it. Trami says, no, you didn't.
as long as she would have been attractive, obviously. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah,
at least
let's be fucking
I want to
serious.
Be real with all of you. I don't want to, lie about anything when it comes to me, at least. And, when I was a teenager, like all throughout my teens from 15 until 19, I was just so very heartbroken and devastated and torn apart and just...
He's like Philip Seymour Hoffman's character from Boogie Nights. This is like who this guy is.
Dead inside, emotionally. Like my heart became just black and stone cold in the long run. And
that's why he connects with the music of Marshall Mathers so much, Drami says, this is all a very sad misunderstanding. Persinger says, not sure about that.
Become so damaged and just broken beyond repair. Like, I truly don't believe for a second that any woman could realistically fix or heal someone as damaged and torn apart and crushed and broken and dead inside and miserable and depressed and stressed out and traumatized as someone like me.
Yeah, so don't even bother. Don't even try. You know what I mean? Hagbard says, does he have a cool car? He probably does, He's just him. He's a lone wolf. He gets to stow away all those checks from some Amazon fulfillment center that he works at. Probably lives with his parents. I'm sure he's got a cool car. He's probably got a Tesla or something. Maybe he's got a Cybertruck. Prophet says, stone cold. Trami says, it got 2 hood ornaments. Prophet says, and that's the bottom line because the black pill said so. Brissinger says, laughing my ass off because the BP says, whoa.
I mean, maybe they could. I mean, I guess hypothetically or theoretically speaking, yeah, maybe they could if they were actually willing to do that. But I mean,
we're just talking. It's just those guys here chatting. Sure, why not? Maybe there is one.
How many women in this world would ever want to risk or take it upon themselves to try to fix and heal a guy who has been through so much hell and shit and trauma and pain and misery? And
you got to find one of those ugly girls with a mommy complex. Dude, she'll get you right as rain. And she'll probably jerk you off.
Depression and stress, anxiety and suicidal thoughts and being so very broken and damaged and dead inside as he is. What woman realistically would want to take it upon herself?
I don't know. Maybe you should list out all of those things again so I can get a better sense of whether or not a woman would want to bother with you.
Even try or make the attempt to fix or heal a guy who is that broken, that dead inside. And that's me. That is me.
Drami says, quote unquote, and my doctor prescribed big perky tits and bubble asses. He says, nothing else will do. Nothing else will do. And I'm trying to get better. This is about mental health.
I'm a perfect example of a guy like that myself. And,
Hagbard asks, how is he not drowning in women? It's a mystery, man. The truth is out there, though.
obviously, I would love it if there were just such a saint or angel of a woman who did take it upon herself, or at least made the attempt, even just made the attempt or tried to fix or heal a guy like me.
Is he like bothered that nobody has reached out, like just out of the ether, just a hand, just a woman, just appearing to heal him? That's a big ask, buddy. That's a big ask. Trembling says, this dude should have just become a metalhead and got some skanky pierced and tatted chick. Yeah, because being like a despondent weirdo is kind of like a virtue in the metalhead community. Yeah, he's just really into the music. He's an intense guy. Brissinger says, my beef with this man is that he knows he doesn't want to be with women, but he tries to virtue signal. Seriously, just get tats, get piercings, drink every night, and smoke every day. You'll get laid, guaranteed. Yeah, it's going to start hanging out at, some questionable places. It'll happen. But, he's got standards, though. If it's not porn star quality level woman, then he's not interested. Okay? Trembling says, a case of the clap would solve a lot for him. I agree. Trami says, the problem is he doesn't want to get laid. I totally agree with that. Yes. He sets his standards at such a ridiculous place that he could never actually fulfill it. He could never meet the standard that he sets, that he thinks women that he desires have for men. And he knows that. But it's fun to bitch, It's fun to make videos online. And if you get a lot of attention for it, I mean, I'm sure these comments are gold. We're definitely going to check some of those out.
But, of course, if that were the case, then what would most likely happen is that she would probably start suffering like hell, trying to, pick up all the pieces of my broken, shattered heart.
Yeah, and he wouldn't want to do that to her. You wouldn't want to do that to somebody. Trauma says, yeah, it's very comfortable to put things out of reach for yourself, less effort spent on trying. Exactly.
Over the years, and try to put me back together and fix me and heal me and make everything better and make me happy again, or at least try to, I don't know, like.
Are you describing a girlfriend or a grandma? Sounds like you just need a mom. You just need a mommy. Brissinger says, just moved to Canada, bud. Assisted end of the line.
It's funny how like so many like incel men online, when it comes to like incel guys who are like in their late teens or early 20s on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, or YouTube, how they talk about their favorite like women celebrities that they have a major huge crush on, and they always talk about, she can heal me, or she can fix me, whatever one it is, because obviously like every incel guy has a crush on a different woman celebrity, and some incel guys have crushes on many women celebrities, like I do.
Yeah, some incel guys are just kind of sluts. He's the slut. He's about to tell us.
Myself, for example, like when it comes to the female celebrities that I have a crush on and like,
he just starts just naming anime characters. Well, I really like Misato from Evangelion. Brissinger says, I just bet Canada will give you a 200 proof drink full of morphine, make you feel happy one last time. Hell, they might even give you a goodbye fuck. Well, yeah, that would be nice. Full service, right? Sex workers. That's real work. That's what they say up in Canada. Traumi said, tired already, Shaun? There's 30 more minutes of this. I see that.
I like a lot of them. I have a crush on many of them. Tons of them. Not just like one, two, or a few of them, but a lot of them.
He's like, dude, like when the fappening happened, oh my God, this guy had to call out of work. Brissinger says, death, sex workers. Hey, it's a living. Trebling says, quote unquote, if I can't drive an Aston Martin, then I don't want to drive at all.
And I mean, if I were lucky enough of being a movie star, I wish. I'd love to be in even movies or shows with my favorite celebrity crushes, but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah, that would be called unprofessional. He's like, yeah, I like to be in movies with girls I have crushes on. I like to rub my dick against them. It's nice. Trami says, death by snoo snoo.
For me, like I wasn't lucky in that sense. I wasn't blessed or fortunate enough of becoming a famous movie star, and
Hey, tell me about it, buddy.
you know, becoming a lister celebrity as much as I wish I could have been. And you know, I wanted to be a famous movie star, famous actor ever since I was like 17 years old in 2014.
Well, what the fuck happened, pal? Trami says, fucking hell, this might be the most specifically pathetic thing I've watched with you guys. It definitely ranks up there. That's why it's very captivating. Like, I'm not bored of it at all. Because it's every time you think like he's done with something, like he unveils a new layer. Because now he's talking about the female celebrities. Now we're getting into his dreams of being an actor, an A-list celebrity. Whew. The depths. This is quite the onion.
And that's another thing that caused me a great amount of suffering and trauma growing up. And what's also interesting is that
did you ever try? Did you even try? That caused him a lot of trauma. Is he saying because he went on auditions? I doubt that happened. Right? He just wanted it. He was just dreaming about it. He just daydreamed about it. He didn't actually ever do anything to try to achieve that goal. I can't imagine anyways. I'd be very surprised. Travi says, of course he didn't fucking try. Prissinger says, yep.
Well, I wouldn't say interesting, but what I meant to say, forget that word that I just used, but the thing about me is I believe that the only way realistically that I would have been able to have a girlfriend when I was a teenager, as much as I wish I could have, and I do, believe me when I say I really desperately wanted to have a girlfriend when I was a teenager.
But not now because he's too broken. Trembling says, cougars should be required by law to fuck guys like this and mommy them into becoming not complete retards. Get them at least the loading dock at Walmart useful to society. Trami says to Trembling, community service for female criminals. Oh, it's like, that we were watching when we watched that old lady prostitute. Like that lady. She could really be doing a great service to people like this. Kind of a hero almost. A hero for the nation. Solving the incel problem single-pussedly. Trami says, fuck 10 incels for the good of society. Brissinger says, he would have always ended up this way, Trembling. You should see some of these husbands I see walking around with these women. Class act fuckwits. Well, that's true.
Or many of them even if I didn't sleep around with them, like obviously, like I would not have wanted to be a man whore or a player.
Of course not. No, you're a gentleman.
There's a part of me that wishes I could have had maybe more than one girlfriend at a time when I was a teenager, at least. And because even in high school, like I had crushes on like more than just one girl. I like more.
He's like, I used to jerk off to a lot of girls in school. Yeah, buddy. Trami says, yeah, this is 99% an attitude problem, obviously. Not a player. You just want to fuck all the hot women you see. Of course. It's a different thing. He's not a man whore. He's not fucking the ugly girls. He doesn't have a problem. Very selective. Very selective. Brissinger says, this is a guy who just can't keep his goddamn mouth shut. I'm kind of in the same position as this guy, but I'm not complaining.
more than just one girl. I like multiple different girls when I was in high school growing up. When I was a 15, 16-year-old, brokenhearted, damaged, crushed, torn apart, dead inside teenager, um, who was also pretty black pilled, like, and a black sheep, and felt like a total and complete outcast because I was, realistically speaking, and obviously I still am. Nothing's really changed that much ever since I was a teenager. I just simply have gotten older. That's the only thing that's really changed for me since I was a teenager, is that I've gotten older. As much as I hate getting older and I hate aging, knowing that I missed out on so much in life growing up.
He's also very neurotic. He probably obsesses about like these self-labels and his self-image. It's probably something that started when he was in high school. Tromby says, I'm going to send this man a thesaurus because he needs more synonyms for dead inside.
And I didn't really have that many experiences compared to most other people. Like, and it crushes me, and it has devastated me knowing that all my peers did way better in life than me. Like, all the people I went to fucking school with, you know, had so many fucking dates when they were teenagers in high school, or hell, maybe even as early as middle school, for all I know. And, you know, a lot of the guys that I went to school with growing up, they had many girlfriends, not just like one of them or a couple of them. No, they had a shit ton of them, and they
were sucking up all the girls, man. Brissinger says, do you think he's ever even listened to that song by Muse? I don't know. The Muse might be a little too uplifting for him. He's black-pilled, dude. He's been black-pilled for a long time, okay? Although he probably listens to The Cure. I have a sneaking suspicion he's got a little romance inside of him. Trami says, sir, I want you to enumerate these experiences other people supposedly have. Brissinger says, this guy is on point of bawling like a toddler. Listen, he's really opening up. He's really opening up. This is as real as it gets.
and slept around. They whored around. They screwed around. And then in their like late teens, they, like, I don't know, got engaged or had kids or some shit, or in their early 20s at the oldest, and then they got fucking married, and then they got to have their own fucking house. Even if it was a piece of shit rundown house, at least it was a house. And they had jobs since they were teenagers. They got their first car when they were teenagers. I mean, they had just so much to live.
Yeah, see, we need to know more about his home life to really kind of get a full picture here. There's something rotten in Denmark, right down to the core of this. Where do these things come from? Where do these neuroses come from? Hagbert said, remember what George Carlin said. I never fucked a 10, but I fucked 5 2s. Brissinger says, love that, man. Think about his jokes every day.
Live for. And they really contributed to our shitty ass corrupt society of ours, and just went on to just live and have a fulfilling life for at least the most part. And I'm so fucking jealous and envious of those motherfuckers. I cannot tell you how much I hate them. And
well, that's always healthy when you allow envy to turn into hatred. That's always good. It's always good. Trami says, I think that's really the core of the problem. He has horribly warped view on what other people's lives are like. Like, we all think life has been fairly unremarkable. Brissinger says, somewhere on this planet right now, there's a guy planning on taking his own life. This is true. Trembling says, maybe this guy just needs to experience a bitch who wets and messes. Yeah, you know, he's just got to open up his predilections. He's got to broaden his perv horizons, become a diaper perv. Seems like they might accept anybody, although that lady was kind of a bitch when people were looking for mommies. He may find himself in a similar situation to now. Hagbert said we should chip in and get him a furry suit. I mean, that would be the nice thing to do. Really set him on the right path. Here, go to your people.
It's just so unfair that I myself did not get to have what they had. You know, I didn't get to experience what they got to experience. Like, I mean, it's just crazy how much more privileged and spoiled those pussies were in life compared to someone like me. I mean, even growing up, like, those same guys most likely had gaming consoles and video games of their own growing up as little kids, and then perhaps as teenagers had gaming computers, most likely. Maybe not. And even if they didn't, gaming consoles have gotten better over the decades, and they got so many.
Man, this kid just got sour grapes all the way down to the vine. Jesus. Trami says, that whom had? I need fucking specifics. Those guys, dude. The guys.
Video games, they had jobs since they were teenagers. Their parents bought them their like first fucking vehicle when they were teenagers. And some of these teenagers drive around in really nice ass vehicles, which is just shocking, unless of course they're like an only child. If that's the case, then I could kind of understand that. Or if they only have like a couple kids or something like that, then they can spoil them much more. And then, you know, they had girlfriends as teenagers and most likely went to parties and got to just like drive around and do what the fuck they wanted to do, when they wanted to do it, and how they wanted to do it. And they were able to move out of their parents' home when they turned 18 or 19 or whatever, maybe even 17 for some of them. And then they maybe move to another city, maybe another state.
Like just this catastrophizing fantasy stuff that he does to get himself worked up, to like paint this picture of a world that he thinks may or may not have existed. It's just crazy. Brissinger says he just is fucking inexperienced. Well, that's very true. Trauma says, and this is the part where he conflates all the successes of every single person he's ever met into the same person. Yeah, exactly. He kind of collapses everything into one kind of grand monolith that he's didn't get to be like. Brissinger said, I had a friend like him. He ended up getting into a car wreck and died a week after his birthday. You can't save them all. That's tragic. Sorry to hear that.
And they just went on to have some big grand life. And they got to have fucking kids of their own. Like, my God. Could they be any more blessed, lucky, and fortunate? It's just so unfair that I didn't get to have that same shit myself. And of course, those same motherfuckers had friends and communities of people and were in.
Well, what were you doing? What was happening? Is there no personal responsibility to take care of your own behavior, your own actions, things that you can reflect upon, that you can change about yourself? And it's not like, and this is a very common thing with these people. Same thing with the antinatalists too. They kind of all circle the same kind of like nihilistic worldview, is that it's never their fault. It's always some other thing, some other problem, some abstract issue that's at fault. It's never them. They never do anything. Brissinger says, eating pizza, I guarantee it.
Involved in things. Involved in communities and sports and whatever they were involved in. And they had jobs and they were doing things and they were making something of themselves. Whereas me, I was a nobody. I was a loser. I was a failure. I was in just pitiful low life. And I just destroyed myself growing up. And I'm just an embarrassment to society, to my parents, and I have brought my parents so much shame that I have also been very miserable and stressed out about, and just have just crippling chronic depression about over the years. Even since I was a teenager, I knew I was such a fuck up of a son and a member or contributor of our society. Not that I was ever a fan of it, but I was just such an outcast, outsider, loner, black sheep. Like, I did not belong in a world like this. This world was just too much for me to handle. I never fit into this world.
It doesn't seem like you are really interested in fitting into this world. I'm just saying. Brissinger says, how many slices of pizza money could you have saved and gotten the same thing you were complaining about? Somebody put a sumo wrestler filter on this guy. Actually, those guys probably be rolling in poon, literally. Well, those guys, yeah, because it's state mandated.
And, you know, the thing about me, too, is that I've identified as an incel ever since I was 20 years old in 2017. Like, some people, because they're idiots, actually think and assume that I didn't think of myself as an incel since I was 20 years old. But the truth is, I did. And I was. So
who are these idiots? Like, who are these people? I mean, is he talking about people like on message boards, etc.? People he talks to online, maybe? Other incels. They're always checking each other for cred. Like, man, you're new here, dude. Get out of here. He's like, man, I've been an incel since I was 20. They're like, yeah, prove it, buddy. Prove it. Prove it. We saw you talking about going on dates. Brissinger says, really, laugh out loud. Japan mandates women fuck sumos. Well, I don't know. I don't know that. that was more of a joke.
Regardless of what some stupid piece of shit think or believe on the internet, doesn't change it from the fact of the matter that when I was 20 years old, I was an incel. Ever since I was 20 years old in 2017, the age that I was at when I first started my dumb, retarded YouTube channel, the one that got sadly terminated after 6 years of uploading YouTube videos, my channel got...
Yes, and this is a thing that happens with these guys. They start making these vlogs and they get attention. And then this becomes the only way that they communicate or get any attention at all. And they're just addicted to it. That negative attention loop. Hagbert says, what's the over-under for number of watch lists this guy is on? Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, if he's been around uploading videos for a while, then I'm sure he's on at least a few. Brissinger says, they don't care he's gone public. Once you go public, you're off the list. They can track him.
Terminated. Even though for many years I was uploading and making such extremely controversial, offensive videos. Some videos that were even highly sexist and anti-women and anti-feminist and anti-liberal, anti-progressive.
You don't say. I wouldn't have guessed.
Anti-woke, whatever. Like,
he's a soldier.
Anti-democratic. That, and my videos were very like extremely like hardcore right and like alt-right, if anything, and very Republican and traditional and just, but to the extreme. Like, the videos that I made from 20 years old to 26 were like the videos that a very like radicalized hardcore alt-righter would make, if anything. And yet my old YouTube channel lasted for 6 years, so I thought, at least for a moment, that my channel would have never gotten terminated. And it's funny too, because I got many strikes on my old channel too at times. Like there were times where I would get like 1 strike or 2 strikes, but I would just wait it out until those strikes were like expired and went away.
He's quite the masterful storyteller. Brissinger says they know he's not going to do anything. Is he bald? Is he a bald head? I don't think so. I think I saw some hair on the sides there. I don't think he's a bald head.
Away or like got refreshed and taken away by YouTube automatically after like a month or so. And then I would just keep making my controversial, offensive, hate-filled YouTube videos. And like, yeah, I mean, one of the main reasons I even started a YouTube channel in the first place is because of the fact that I am and was, ever since I was 20 years old, an incel. The day I turned 20 and was still a virgin, that's when I officially started identifying as an incel. But
it was official then. It was official. It was for real. He got t-shirts made. He got his name tag all situated. Incel.
what's interesting is that some guys, even since they're teenagers, will identify as an incel. I think that's kind of stupid in my own personal opinion. Not that I'm trying to like diss or disregard any of the pain and suffering and whatnot that those like teenage incel guys are going through. But in my personal opinion, I just think that you don't really become officially an incel, at least if you're a man anyways, until you're 20 years old and still virgin. If you're 20 years old and still virgin,
I don't know, it seems kind of arbitrary. 20? Why 20?
even if you don't really identify as an incel, technically speaking, you are. Like, at least.
Like, sorry, buddy, but it's what you are. You should really think about starting a YouTube channel and talking about it exclusively. Trami says, teenagers is stupid. 20 is the perfect age to apply for incel ship. Brissinger says, nope, you called out the incels, dude. They coming for you. Trami says, I think I was a virgin until I was 24. I think I was, how old was I? 17? 17, I think. At
Least if you wanted to have a girlfriend as a teenager, but because of whatever reasons you didn't get a girlfriend and you didn't get to lose your virginity as a teenager, and if you're still a virgin by the age of 20, then I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're a fucking incel.
It's over, bro.
Like, honestly, that's just the way it is. Like, if you're a man,
it's just the way it is.
Okay. God damn. Okay. Well, that's good info, man.
And you're a 20-year-old and you're still a virgin at that age, then you're an incel. But when you're like 19, 18, 17, 16, 15,
you got the whole world ahead of you. Anything could happen in those years. Anything. You could even get laid. It's true. It's true.
14, you're not an incel. I mean, obviously, you could maybe be like black-pilled and nihilistic or whatever as a teenager, or like edgy or dark or emo or goth or whatever, but as a teenager, I wouldn't necessarily say you're an incel. Because, again, in my opinion, as a man at least, you don't really become an incel.
Bressinger says, I guess Tarami and I are, wait for it, are incels. Oh, shit. Give it up, guys. It's over.
Until you're at least...
It's over. It's over.
What are you going to do about it, bitch? What are you going to do about it?
20 and still virgin. And the older you get as a virgin, starting from when you're 20, the more dark you will become and the more disconnected from society and disassociated with humans and society and culture.
Yeah, you become more of like a Walt Whitman type. You know, you start hanging out in the woods amongst nature. Trelling says, you ever watch that guy, likely autistic, post 10 on YouTube that goes around and unclogs ditches and culverts, etc.? This incel should go do something useful like that and demonstrate value. No, I've never seen that. Trembling says, if anything, it's gotten easier with age to get laid. Trembling says, first step of the dentist system. Trami says, I've watched some of his videos. He's a weird dude, but I appreciated them. Habgard says, wait till this guy's 30th birthday. Brissinger says, I stopped trying, though. I just don't care.
Culture and communities and whatnot you will become. And, you know, the loneliness will fucking eat you alive and just eat you whole. And that's what it did to me in the long run. And, you know, I'm almost 27. I'm almost 27, and
I mean, your life is pretty much over, dude. Over.
I'm just like, my life is over. My life has ended for a long time now. And, you know, I don't really have any desire, longing, or yearning to want to help a society like ours. I have no desire, longing, or yearning to want to contribute or to be.
Well, good luck finding a girlfriend with that attitude, fella. Trami says, almost 27. Oh, to be 27 again. I know. Tell me about it, right? Brissinger says, you do that to yourself. Damn, those ladies are based. Laugh out loud at 27. I didn't care either. It's not that. It's not even not caring. It's the way that he talks about not caring.
Be a part of or take part in a shitty ass, corrupt, backwards, upside down, twisted, just pure evil society like ours. Like, I am not a fan of our society or culture one damn bit. I do not support it. I do not condone the degenerate.
This is like if Hitler had gotten into art school situation. If only this guy had gotten blown at prom, things could have been different. Things could have been very different. Trami says, if you don't care all that much, you're just a cell and not an incel, I suppose. Brissinger says, this guy needs rap. He definitely does. I'm sure he could cut a few sick bars for us.
And the wickedness that goes on in our country, in our society and culture. And I'm not a fan of our system, and I never have been. And I don't know. I don't even feel that much like an American. I don't know what the fucking hell I am, though. I really don't. Like,
this is really taking a twist. This is taking a turn.
I don't know what I am. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, if I lived in another country that I would be happier, or that like I'd probably feel more at home if I lived in another country, or like, no. There is no place in this whole damn wretched world where I feel like I would be happy, or where I would feel like I'm at home, or that I matter or have meaning and purpose in my life, or any place in this world that I would personally feel.
Yeah, because it requires you to be proactive in your own life, to have those senses, those feelings. This is just like listening to an antinatalist. Those, like, these nihilistic things, just there's so much crossover in all of these online communities. Tarami says he's covering the entire spectrum of topics. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's almost like he's got like a checklist of every of everything that an incel, you would like stereotypically think an incel would talk about, he has talked about, and he has presented it in that way. It's almost like too good to be true. We could be being psyoped right now. Brissinger says, is he saying he's just an animal now? When do we skip forward to the animal instincts portion?
Feel that I fit in or belong.
Yeah, now he's a wolf and he lives out in the woods. This is where he lives now.
Like, and what also really devastates me and breaks my heart and crushes me and causes me great pain and suffering is the fact that I'm almost 30. I mean, in 3 years, just 3 short years, I'll be 30 years old. And most likely, if I'm being honest with myself and all of you, if I'm being honest with the world for that matter, I'll most likely be still a virgin, still an incel. Like, I'm calling it right now. Like, unless...
I mean, now it's down. It's official now. This is like when he came out as an incel when he was 20. You know, he's throwing down the gauntlet, and we're all going to be very disappointed if things take a turn for the better for him. You know what I mean?
We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
Oh my goodness. Travis says 30, basically fucking dead. Brissinger says, at least you ain't almost 40 like me. Hey, dude, I hear you. I'm going to be 38 this year. Travis says, I'm almost 42, so I'm typing this from beyond the grave. Ooh. Brissinger says, laugh out loud. Fucking dead, bro. Dead forever.
Unless women, modern women, start changing their fucking ways and becoming better, if women...
Treming says, why are all the incel guys that want to be hedonistic degenerates but can't yet claim for a large part to be right wing? I don't know. That's a good question, because I don't think they really have a clear understanding of what any of that stuff really means. It's kind of the aesthetic of it, I think, that they respond to, like the stereotype.
And don't start becoming modest, good, humble, meek, religious, traditional to the extreme, conservative and Republican.
I doubt this guy goes to the church. I mean, because that's like something that you could suggest for a person like this. It's like, well, go to church, go be part of a Bible study or something like that. You know? Trami says, I guess being conservative actually implies hard work. Maybe. Brissinger says, lots of traditionalism on the right. Kind of not what an incel is looking for. Well, that's just part of the paradox. The unachievable goal that they set for themselves is that it's kind of it's full of contradictions. Tremling says, just be chaste and go to church and be involved in that church community and you'll probably get a girl. That's what traditional means. I agree. Brissinger says, although he may claim it, Tremling says the shit for free is more of a lefty thing. Yeah.
Republican to the extreme, and start having self-respect and being dignified, and start lowering their standards and expectations when it comes to getting with a man, and if anything, becoming much more realistic. And in what...
So basically, don't be like you. So women can't act like you. They can't have your standards. They have to lower theirs.
What they want. And unless women start fucking dating and marrying incel men and also stop whoring around, and unless women...
I mean, and who wouldn't want to? A catch like this. Jesus Christ.
Start to become virgins and stop sucking dick and taking dick up the ass, then I will never stop being an incel. I will...
Until you ladies change your ways.
Nasty bastard, as soon as I pee on him, he comes.
Jeez. Brissinger says, incels want shit for free. I think we can agree on that. So I think that makes them perhaps inadvertently left wing. Maybe. I don't think they know. I don't think they really know.
I'll never stop being a virgin, and I will never be able to be married or have kids of my own or have a happy, fulfilling, joyful life. And
Yeah, because if they don't change, then he's not going to lower his standard of what he wants. If they're not going to fucking change, then it's their fault. And he was going to stay an incel out of principle. He was getting ready and raring to go. He's on Bumble. You know, plenty of fish maybe. Now he's about to shut it all down. It's all over now. Trelling says, feeling entitled just goes across the board more and more each generation, from money to pussy. That's true. That's a good way to put it, for sure. As we have moved along, as we've progressed, we've become more entitled, for definitely. Brissinger says, I really wish he could just write this shit in a journal or something. Yeah, but then we wouldn't be able to, you know, enjoy his video.
I'll never be able to get better or even have any chance at that. And, you know, I'm just like, I'm just so hopeless and full of despair, because when I see the modern state of women, and honestly, for a long time now.
He's like, I've been watching these videos by this guy called Sandman. Yeah, dude, he's saying sex dolls are the way. Sex dolls are the future. Trembling says, these guys missed out on not having live journal. Oh, dude, you know that they're on like 4chan or 8chan, whatever it is now. I don't even know what the fuck it is. Kiwi Farms, typing away all fucking day. We're getting the abbreviated version. I'm sure this guy has written enough for a novel online. Travis says, yeah, we'd miss out on a great nightcap. Exactly. He's done us a favor. It's a gift.
I just think of them as being a lost cause as a whole. And nobody can tell me otherwise. Like, nobody can convince me otherwise. Like, when I look at the modern day women and the modern state of them, I just am like, I don't even know what to think. I'm just so like, I'm so done with them. I'm just hopeless. Like, because I'm not just hopeless myself, but I think women themselves are hopeless and full of despair and broken and crushed and torn apart on the inside. They're dead inside.
So you could find maybe some enticing pairings out there then. You guys have a lot in common. You're dead inside. Brissinger said, I mean, he has no firm stance on anything. He appears to want to be an exhibitionist, but doesn't give up his ass on live. What the fuck, man? You want attention? You got to get it that way.
They're not happy. They're on antidepressants and a whole bunch of other shit. They have no love, care, or respect for themselves. They have no dignity, no modesty. They're not traditional in any sense. They're not conservative. They're not Republican. They're not religious.
I mean, what does this person do to uphold any of these values in his own life, I wonder? I have a feeling probably not very much. It's just kind of more of an idea. He's like, once he finds the right woman, that's when he's going to get his shit together and start living that righteous life. But until then, it's Fritos, Twinkies, and pornography.
Just most women don't even have God. Like, I've never really been the religious type, but at least I believe in God, and I'm never going to stop believing in God.
Even there, right there, I've never really been the religious type. So, but he wasn't this one of the things you were talking about. Women need to return to. They need to return to religion. Oh, Tarami says, because you've expressed a lot of traditional values yourself. Nods. Brissinger says, I tell you what, women are better than you, dude. They making money.
I've just never been that much of a Christian or religious. But then again, God isn't really a part of a religion, or at least he shouldn't be.
Of course he's going to have his own weird esoteric beliefs. Of course he does. Of course he does. Everybody's got it figured out. Each and every individual one of these guys has some sort of twist on belief and why they're exempt from the things they want other people to conform to. Trumling says this dude needs a little brother to come up with milk money with a milk money like plan to get him hitched to a hooker. Actually, yes, 100%. Got to get that old Canadian lady. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for a granny. He's looking for a mom. Pick up the pieces, put me back together, shove ice cubes up my ass.
And I don't know, like, modern women are in trouble, way more so than men. And I mean, our country is just going down the tubes fast.
Right into the
There is
shitter.
no stopping it. Our country, in other Western countries too, for that matter, are just self-destructing, like completely.
Tell me your hot take on geopolitics. Yes, thank you. Trump says, what the fuck, ice cubes? Oh, it was an anecdote that this old lady Canadian prostitute told some guy that was interviewing her, that somebody had requested that she stick ice cubes up his ass. That's what that's from. Brissinger says, do like a birthday surprise party and the hooker sucks his dick while he's blindfolded. Trami says, an amusing as seeing his reaction would be, I don't think it'd change anything. Brissinger says, spike the Hawaiian punch, get him blackout drunk, show him the pics afterwards. That's probably would be the best. It would be the best thing for him, really. The best medicine.
And it's sad. You know, if women would have had more realistic dating standards and marriage standards, and if women were humble,
dude, that you would have had a chance when you were younger. I'm sure they didn't have that high of standards. I mean, these other little fuckwits, your buddies that were running around scooping up all the ass, they probably weren't, the cat's pajamas. They probably weren't, every girl's Prince Charming. You know what I mean? Just a thought.
And meek and caring and loving and compassionate and understanding and sympathetic and empathetic.
Just everything.
And if they believed in God, if they were Republicans and conservatives, if they were traditional to the extreme, and if they were modest, and if they had dignity.
I could skip ahead and he's still gonna be listing things off. If they don't show their knees,
then they would be much happier all around. And if they also saved themselves for marriage and did not have sex until after getting married, and if they
this is key.
dated and married incel men, then I think this world would have been a much better place.
I mean, what about all of these ugly girls that you used to talk up? Seems like you probably had a chance. I bet you one of those girls liked him too. One of these ugly girls. Trami says, but you want to fuck all of them. Well, just for a time. He's got to go out and see what's out there, Trami says they can't both save themselves from marriage and fuck you. Well, no, he's going to go like the fresh and fit strategy, You fuck like 100 girls and then you find a 22-year-old virgin to marry.
Way better in the long run. But obviously that didn't happen, and I honestly highly doubt it ever will happen. I don't think it will ever end up becoming a reality of our world, at least. And I don't know. I'm just so
I'm just upset that the world does not conform to my incredibly stringent set of values. that I myself do not partake in, but that's really besides the point. That doesn't have anything to do with me.
Get inside. You know, one thing that would also make me happy as a man is if women made the first move.
Yeah, come on, ladies. It's 2024 already. How about you start trying to pick up the fellas? Bristinger says he sees porn and thinks he's missing out. Yeah, he definitely does. Oh, he's definitely a porn addict.
If women were the ones who asked out men, at least I myself, and I'm sure many other shy, introverted men, and also antisocial men, socially awkward men, men who are nervous and uncomfortable and stressed out around beautiful women and who have no confidence, who are not extroverted, who have no self-esteem.
He wants him and all of his incel buddies to be like at a ball, at a big grand ball, and they're all in tuxes, and they all get to stand around and strut with confidence because they know the mommies are coming. The mommies are coming, and they let the mommies in, and they're just in ecstasy. They're talking to me. Trami says, you got to go Mormon for that, or Muslim in some Middle Eastern country, I guess. But those traditional women would beat your bitchy little ass. Yeah, they would. They would. And he's fucked. He can't even be a passport bro because he's broke. He doesn't have a good job. So he can't go to Thailand and scoop up some desperate 25-year-old girl that's trying to move to America. Couldn't afford it. Can't afford it. Brissinger says, laugh out loud. Yeah, the only guys doing that get laid because they want to on a regular basis.
Who don't know how to talk to girls or women. If women made the first move, it would make us men's lives much easier. And we would be relieved of such a massive burden that we've.
See, just like I have these fantasies of like being in a grocery store and just being approached by a beautiful woman. Like, hey, I saw you checking out those cantaloupes. And then she picks them up and holds them over her breasts. What do you think of these?
Had for too long. Of society expecting us to make the first move, which is unfair, to say the least.
Bullshit.
And, you know, as a man, I would love it if women made the first move. And I know many other men would be too. We would really appreciate that and be grateful of that. If they
Travis says, yeah, because the problem with being chosen rather than the one who chooses is that you get what you get. Yeah, but from his perspective, they're going to be, hotties. The hotties have to do this. The ugly girls, he has to swat them away already. He has to swat them away, He's not worried about that. He's looking for the tens, Traumi says this has been studied rather extensively.
They did, but of course they don't, and they won't, and they never will, because society has never expected or put the pressure or burden on women to make the first move. And I think at least it would be fair if it expected and put the pressure and burden on at least really sexy, hot, gorgeous, beautiful, good-looking, attractive women to make the first move.
Yeah, but why wouldn't they just go for the guys that would traditionally hit on them? Why would they suddenly see you? You know what I mean here, pal? I don't think you're going to get a much different result than what already exists in nature. I'm just saying.
Well, at least them. And I would say they're much more beautiful women than compared to the amount or percentage of good-looking guys.
They won't be allowed
They
won't be allowed to date good-looking guys. It'll be forbidden by President Trump. We got to get him back in office. This is paramount.
Would say is also even kind of funny is that one thing I've been noticing about guys who are incels and black-pilled, a lot of them are actually good-looking and handsome.
He's like, I'd fuck him. I'd fuck him. That's how good looking some of these guys are. Have you ever heard of Black Pill George?
Sure, they have piss poor personalities and, they're, sexist and misogynistic and whatever. They hate women or they're angry at them or frustrated with them or whatever. But
whatever,
at the same time, women don't understand and don't care to understand why we are the way we are, why we think the way we think, and how did we end up becoming like this in the first place. They don't care to try to understand. They don't want to. They don't want to bother. And also,
well, thank God you're here. Thank God you're here, because maybe now they'll hear, they'll know.
Like a lot of incel men, and I mean a lot of them, are good looking. They're handsome. They're attractive. Way more than the guys who are the ones who defend women's honor and act like a bunch of stupid faggot white knights. And
oh my goodness, what a lashing out. That's fucking crazy.
Try to run to women's aid and defense, actually look ugly as shit. They look hideous.
Yeah, they don't look like the Chad incels that are just waiting in the wings, ready to be scooped up by the hot mommies.
They look fucking demented and distorted. Men who are blue-pilled, men who are fucking normies and NPC motherfuckers look ugly as sin. They look hideous.
That's because he has like a special ability. He can see their true self, He's got this part of his beliefs, his loose beliefs in God, He sees them for what they are, demons, okay?
They look disgusting. They look demented. They look disabled, if anything. The ones who think that women will love and appreciate and care about them when they defend them and, run to their aid and defense, as if women can't defend themselves. Give me a break. And I'm sure women are laughing their asses off at those men who defend them and run to their aid and defense, thinking that they're gonna fucking get something out of it. But they don't. They never do.
Don't.
Most likely never will. And it's honestly pretty hilarious. But
yeah, when you really think about it, it's actually kind of funny. It's kind of sad. These simps.
I don't know. I think it's kind of funny and interesting that black-pilled men, incel men, at least from what I have seen and come to know myself in my own personal experience, black-pilled men, incel men, men who are virgins, who never got shit from women, who never got any affection or anything from women. We're the good-looking ones. We're the attractive guys.
We're the hot daddies, okay? Don't you understand? Don't you get it? Tarami says, quote unquote, unlike me, I just expect them to fuck my dick without me doing anything for them. Exactly. All of this behavior that he describes, this simp, white knight, soy boy, blue pill, normie, NPC motherfucker bullshit, is just like a guy being a boyfriend. Just a guy not having seething hatred for women. That's all. That's all it is. He's like, nah, man, that ain't the way. That ain't the way Eminem taught me.
But we never got anything from women, whether or not we deserve to. But anyways, those are all the reasons why.
Whether or not we deserve to? Well, I think that matters. If you're not deserving of it, then why would you expect it?
Women have made me become an incel, have turned me into an incel in the long run. And it started from when I was a teenager. It started all the way back from when I was 15, 16 years old. And it only got worse as I got older, as I aged. But anyways, let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I'm out.
Darth Nihilus out. Let me see here. Let's see some of these comments. Let me see here. Brissinger says, can you imagine this guy putting his dick in a lame-ass hoe who's a virgin? Don't know how to fuck, just lays there, and he doesn't do anything either, but they both okay with it. Soaking. Wow. Yeah, and then he'd blast in a couple seconds. It would be over. It'd be a magical experience for everybody involved. This guy says, the real cope is learning that self-improving for women's attention already means you lost because Chad never had to think about that he just got it. Oh, my God. These poor sons of bitches. These bastards. I promise you, bro, as somebody who shared your mindset for a long time, women can't fix or heal you. That mindset has absolutely destroyed many relationships for me. You'll come to resent the women you're with because you're expecting to get better and you never do. That kind of healing only comes from within. I decided to be voluntarily single for 4 years. I spent those years working out, taking care of myself physically and mentally, focusing on going to school and becoming financially successful. For religious reasons, I abstained from sex for a long time. Now I am sexually active with the girl I'll be spending the rest of my life with. I promise you, it's so worth it, brother. It's never too late to walk the hard path. Find joy in the little things and keep your eyes forward. Best of luck, my friend. Your future is there for you. Just reach out and grab it. What a nice dude. What a nice person. I wonder what it was met with. Facts. No doubt these normies are delusional. It's honestly hilarious. So yeah, he's not taking kindly. Emergency Channel says, can't resent women you're with if no woman will even give you a chance. This person says, if you guys really want to know how to improve things, why are you always shooting down the very real, genuine, intelligent advice people are giving? You've got to decide. You're either going to stay as you are and accept it or reject it and change. Based. Well, at least it's not all dick riding. Why did you two recommend me this? Poor fella. Hope he gets out of the 4chan headquarters quickly enough. Instead of obsessing over being able to talk to pretty women, why don't you do some good? Volunteer. Wow. These people are, the normies found them. The NPC motherfuckers. Volunteer at a local shelter, busy your mind, and be grateful for the good things you have. Meet people. Actually listen to what they're saying. Well, that would be probably kind of tough for them. You have a very wrong opinion about women. Get to know a few women and talk to them about their interests. Forget what they look like. You'll be surprised. What are you talking about? Bad advice, Richard. You have to get out of your only some teenage girls and shallow older women care about what you insist women like. My husband and baby's father is short, bald, and didn't earn a lot of money when I met him. I liked him, and we got together for his emotional intelligence and how he listened to me. There's nothing worse than a me person. I've come across this video because after watching a true crime documentary and didn't know people could think this way. It's very dangerous. My goodness. The issue is that women aren't objects. Attractive or ugly, they're all just human with fears and desires exactly like your own. Wow. Usually is a love fest. Bro, I feel you so deeply. Everyone has a woman to love in my area almost. All my old friends, at least, who left me behind. I found myself in the same spot as you. I've been alone for over a decade now. I feel like I will never have anyone. I feel like the only human I know who is meant to live a life without finding my soulmate, let alone anyone who could ever be the missing piece of the puzzle in my life. I bet you this person's like 22 years old. Goddamn, this is really unfair. I'm a nice guy. Everyone has a family by now. Just because I'm not stable financially enough for their high standards, I have a car, and they all overlook me like I'm invisible. You were speaking my life too, man. Hugs. I'm in the dark for so long, and now I deserve someone that likes me too. I feel like it's impossible to even take a first step to getting the chance to meet a nice single woman to date. They stay single for a week after their year-long relationships go bad. I can't wrap my mind around it, but I know I must be such a lost cause. And this is the thing that's sad about these kinds of videos and these kinds of communities is that they just keep themselves in the cycle and that they constantly obfuscate responsibility. They don't believe that they are responsible for their own actions, their own life, the way things are for them. And it's sad. It's not cool. Trami says, nice guys. So next up, we'll give that guy a little bit of a break.